Wassail rabbit, salut mes petits lapins. Hello. So, I had to go on a little bit of a shamanic journey to retrieve my own piece of missing soul, which I did last night in a dream that I can't explain to you, but it's happened, we're done. We're back in the world of movement, and I feel very refreshed. So, I've done your reading a couple of times. I did it straight after Tigers, but I couldn't get a reading out until I'd been on my shadow work, and that in itself was a lesson for me to understand a little bit more patience. Patience! I find that such a complicated and annoying. I'm not patient. So, we've swapped decks because we need to go back now to our inner child, luminous warrior. Because part of those first three readings are about rescuing ourselves and not relying on someone else to rescue us. So we rescue ourselves in the rat reading, and that tells us that then we have the frequency of the ox reading to bring that person in. But you can't call that person in if you think they're somehow going to rescue you, because then you're stopping that energy frequency coming in. So we have a single card, which I can't see, which is the overall energy. It was so funny, the cards were just singing. And then, as I say, I did your reading twice and they just wouldn't talk to me. And it was making me so frustrated because I really felt like I was on a beautiful energy roll. But it was like, no, you need to go away and do this little bit. So, rabbits. It's funny as well because I kept thinking it's like the blockage that was on dragons, but actually it wasn't. This was just a blockage of time, of a moment in time, it not being the right moment. And my brain was saying, oh, but I've got to set the rabbits reading out there. Now I can do that because I've accepted all the pieces are in the right order. So, rabbits, what's your message? It's also my mum's birthday today. Oh, and that card's gone all the way over there. I knew this was going to come up because of a message I wrote this morning to Ma. Hello, Ma. Not my Ma, someone called Ma. And that message, when I wrote it, felt very kind and open, but had a much bigger message unfolding within it for me. So, can we have a message for rabbits that's for everybody? Oh. So beautiful. You see, we're so back in the flow. We as in all of us. Not the royal we, not me, everyone. So, there's a hidden card I just saw, which I'm pretty sure looked like the heart of the sky. How bizarre, I really saw it. Well, I'm going to leave a space for it. Oh, that's so weird. It turned over and went inside and yet it still popped out. I was going to leave a space for it, but I don't need to. It's magically appeared. See, believe in the magic. The magic is everywhere. Look, the magic really is growing, and you've got to keep that in mind. If you want to break free, you've got to allow the magic to come through. So I did a reading for myself this morning to check we were back with the cards, just to feel the flow of the cards, and I got the 7 of batons, which is a little tiny fairy sitting in a flower with all of the butterflies flying around, and the butterflies were telling me that when I walked the other day, it's like they were bringing all of the magic around me, and I witnessed that magic, but I didn't allow that magic into me. I didn't pull it in deliberately because I needed to go through the shadow again. So one more card, please. I get the sense it's going to drop 2. One more card, please. Or none. 1, see? Defiance. So, where do we begin? Actually, let me just have a quick look at what we've got as the overall message before I look at the overall energy. So, fabulous. So what do we have? We've got Cinderella, and she's taken her slippers off to stand in her own light. That's so beautiful. So this is card 18, which is the moon. And we are talking about a new moon, and this is shining down. So look, in the card, this is all of the past. The past is dealt with, it's buried, it's gone, it doesn't belong in the now. Traumas, thoughts, worries, fears do not belong in the future. And the golden slippers, her glass slippers that she has, they're wishing for someone else to come in and change her fate. She's taken her slippers off. She's going to stand in the grass. Now, lots of you have been talking about standing in the grass and how important it is to earth our footsteps. We're back on that theme again, but we've got to walk with the love in our whole being, going down into the earth, coming out of our bodies and going up to the cosmos. And the bird's spirit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is bringing, there's 8 birds and they're bringing change to her. 8, there's 9, it's divine. I just spotted the 9th bird hiding away. And that's a little bit like this journey. There's always a fragment that we don't see, and that's that fragment that last night in my dream I went to get. So she's looking up and she's here to rescue herself, and Spirit is bringing her a new dress. Now, the new dress represents an energy frequency, and it's the manifestation of the magic that you wish for, so that it can descend upon you and live inside your frequency. But you went and got it. No one else got it for you. You got it because you did the work. You faced all of your fears and you pushed through them. So we begin with the slipper rather beautifully. So I do get this sense that the slippers represent in this card false hope. False hope. Well, actually, hope is false, because hope is sitting still and praying and wishing and hoping that something outside of you fixes you. You don't need that. You have the strength within you to fix everything in your own life, but you have to believe. And there's a really annoying song that's been going around in my head that I didn't want to mention, but they're singing it again, which is that "Don't Stop Believing," that one. Anyway, I don't know who it is or what it is. I'm not really, but it's the point is, don't stop believing in yourself, So these slippers are tripping you up because they're hopes, not trusts. You're hoping, not trusting. So, rabbits. Then you have hope. Oh dear. I mean, I know I've read these cards, but when I'm doing these readings, the messages come in and I read them, and then when I pick up the next card, I've forgotten where this journey is going. Hope. Now, this is a card that is like a firework, but this is time ticking, divine moments. This is the divine moment, l'espoir. And your moment is going off like a firework inside your soul, because it's a repeated fragment that we've been going over and over and over. And what they're saying to me about time is that time is so bendy that we influence it. And actually, look, we've got the card of the Time Master that's reminding us, it's coming up later, of the control we have over our fate. So if you want to decide, like I did with my ex, I decided that I couldn't go on with our lack of love for each other properly, a true, fulfilling love. And so I walked away, and I comforted myself with the notion that I know from my life that we in a future life are blissfully happy. Now, I hung on to that energy so strongly throughout the relationship that I didn't really allow that energy of us loving each other into the time right now. I pushed that energy forwards. And in many ways, I habitually do that because I've never been down here before, so I don't have past lives. So I just keep thinking this is the oldest time in my life, but it means I know there's all this joy that comes to me in future lives, but that's stopping me bringing that same energy into the now. And it's about anchoring into now. And I've talked about it and it hasn't made sense. I said, I've come here to anchor something. I've come here to anchor joy, my luminous warrior, into the now so that I can move forwards. And that's what we're all doing. So you can look at things, I can say, of my mirrored soul. Oh, November time, he's going to come towards me. Then I've pushed him to November. Instead of thinking everything that needs to happen will happen in a divine moment, I'm putting timescales on it instead of seeing it as done. And that's what this card is saying to us. Don't push your wishes into the future, because that's what Cinderella did when she was wearing these slippers and she's stumbling. She falls as she runs out of the palace for fear of being caught out by the midnight hour, because she believed that something awful would happen to her at midnight, rather than just actually, do you know what, just going into the dance, dancing with Prince Charming, and then at midnight, so she's suddenly in rags. He loved her. It wouldn't have mattered to him. It didn't matter to him in the long run, but that's how stories work. So, stop living in futures, live in the now. You create the future by living it now, by saying you have everything now. And you have next the card of hope, l'amour. Sorry, the hope card is followed by l'amour. Sorry, I'm looking at this because this card is about offering love and love being brought to you. And I want to stress, rabbits, that the notion in the ox reading is not to just wait for this person to come and get you, but to actually focus on your self-love and accept that a mirrored soul is with you. And that's what brings the energy forwards, because it's not about something else. Like even in this with the hummingbird bringing the the heart in and dropping it into the Yggdrasil tree from the top. It's about being the rainmaker. The rainmaker creates her own emotions. She puts all the emotional language into gear, sorts everything out around her, and just emanates that magic outwards, so that that magic has to descend upon her. And that comes with, I want to say 313, just looking back. I've been driven to look at a number suddenly. 313 you need to look at. The hummingbird is here. But the hummingbird remains frozen until you create the energy to wake the hummingbird. You know, I've been guilty of waiting for a hummingbird to turn up. The hummingbird's here. It's here. It's here. And when I know it's here, then the hummingbird's all around me, just like the butterflies are all around me. And actually, I did get a message of all the flies being a sense of, flies deal with decay, and the flies mixed with the butterflies are eating the decaying notions of what Cinderella has buried, the past. The flies deal with what is done with. The butterflies bring the transformation. So now I understand the reason the flies are around me. The flies are swarming around me to eat away at the old frequencies that I'm releasing. So it makes being bothered by them now something quite beautiful. So your hummingbird awakens when you have your soul in alignment and you connect with your inner child, your luminous warrior child. But it's come through as the inner child again, because this child is waiting to be retrieved. And this is the moon cycle in which you do it. That's the energy that I'm getting. And the heart, the symbol of love, is on the third eye of the inner child. It's not in the soul of the inner child, because you haven't decided that you want to have that frequency. And that frequency, remember, is to do with love and joy and laughter. And that's our adult inner child, our luminous warrior shining from within. So this first part is talking about letting go of the fairy tale notion that something else steps in to fix you, you fix you. And that is when you reach your completion point. And in the middle of here is a new heart forming. So this is really saying you've got this. In this moon cycle that runs from the 17th to the 15th, new moon to new moon, 15th of October, you will be being given all this wonderful divine feminine consciousness energy connection to lift your heart properly out. And the heart goes back to the rat reading. If you look at the rat reading, that talks about the importance of collecting our heart from the hummingbird. I know I just said it's not a hummingbird that delivers it, it's you, but you need to deliver it to yourself, and the hummingbird will appear so that you understand that you've done it. And that is the medicine. That is the medicine that we're getting. Okay? Sorry, I just need to look at something. How bizarre. This entire video is being recorded upside down. The timestamps at the bottom. Now that's magic. There's no reason for that to happen. So the medicine is the settling of all of these frequencies around you, pulling them all in. As the Time Master, he's surrounded in the background by the frequencies, the codes, the cosmic movement of the music of the spheres, all bringing this down. And that's when the journey begins, as we earth ourselves in with La Rancine and the journey, earthing our journey through our hearts. It's really such a beautiful message. This is us protected by our own inner light. You know, the hands across the chest, knowing when is the right moment to shine that energy out, is when you feel that connection through your feet, when you take the slippers off, the slippers, the false hopes, and actually pull in the energy frequency. And the Time Master frequency is pulling this energy mantle down. An energy mantle is like a cape that you wear. That's a new frequency that you can live in. And that's the gift that this moon is bringing towards you, rabbits. And anyone else that's watching. Because I am feeling that this is a long story in 12 chapters for us. But rabbits, this is the part that you need to focus on. And if necessary, go back and look at the other readings. Okay, so that's your upside down reading. Everything is being turned on its head. So hopefully when I put the message up, I won't be upside down. Anyway, wassail.